Jumping. This supernova has 3 jumping MP, and that means the mech can jump 1, 2, 3 levels high, and it can expend up to 3 MP to traverse up to 3 hexes in any reasonably straight direction. 1, 2, 3. And of course the mech can land with any facing it wants, free of MP cost. Notice how the mech traveled from its starting point to its final destination via the shortest path possible based on the number of hexes. The mech did not turn any corners or make any big, turns, because the mech's jump jets just aren't nimble enough for that. And of course, we place a red die next to it indicating that it jumped, with 2 pips up, 1 pip because it moved 3 hexes, the other pip because it jumped. Now, mechs having to jump in a reasonably straight line is typically no big deal, but sometimes it can be a little bothersome. For instance, let's say the supernova wants to jump back here. Well, let's see what happens. 1, 2, 3, up, and then it goes over 1, and the mech cannot continue forward because the level 4 hill is too high. The supernova cannot get over that level 4 hill, so it has to stop there. Like that. Now let's say that the supernova finds itself here at the start of its movement phase. The supernova is on a level 4 hill, but it only has 3 jump jets. And yet, it can still jump down to this hex. Because any mech with at least 1 jump jet, or 1 jumping MP, can fall down or jump down any number of levels. So the mech can still jump down and engage its jump jets about here and fall down safely. And everything is A-okay. We just covered the basics of how a mech's flight path works with jump jets. However, things get more interesting when other types of terrain become involved. Let's take a look at that. A jumping mech can move 1 hex for each available jumping MP. Terrain does not affect this MP cost. If a hex is legal to enter, it costs 1 MP to move over or into it. Period. So, that means this mech can jump over this depth 2 and depth 1 water like this. 1, 2, 3. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. The same applies to the heavy woods. 1, 2, 3. We've already seen that this applies to level changes. 1, 2, 3. However, we have not yet discussed the presence of other battle mechs. A jumping mech ignores the presence of other mechs. In hexes, it jumps over. For example, 1, 2, 3. None of this means that a jumping mech ignores the rules of a hex that it normally lands in. For example, if the supernova were to try and jump into this depth 2 hex, it could do so by hovering over the hex and then shutting off its jump jets and plopping itself in. The pilot skill roll for moving into a water hex of depth 1 or deeper still applies. Note that this battle mech in Depth 2 water is completely submerged, and jump jets cannot function when submerged in water. Accordingly, this mech cannot use any of its jump jets. However, if the mech were in this Depth 1 water, only its legs are submerged in water, not its torso. That means the mech can activate any jump jets located in one of its 3 torso locations, but not any of the jump jets located in its legs. This particular variant of the Supernova has 3 jump jets, one in each of the 3 torsos. Accordingly, this mech can still use all of its jump jets and jump out. 1, 2, 3. That would not be a legal jump, because it's not a straight line. It's not the shortest distance. Actually, it would be. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. There are multiple paths this supernova can take to get to this final destination from this destination. Let's go over that in more depth. A mech can only jump to its destination hex via the shortest possible path. That is to say, the fewest number of hexes required to get there. If more than one such path exists, the player chooses which of these paths their mech takes. To illustrate, let's say we have a Nova that wants to get from hex A to B. Well, what's the shortest path? We got 1, 2, 3, 4. That'll work. But we also have 1, 2, 3, 4. But there's, of course, 1, 2, 3, 4. And naturally, 1, 2, 3, 4. But wait, there's also 1, 2, 3, 4. And there's also 1, 2, 3, 4. All of those paths are available to the player controlling the Nova, unless one of those paths contains prohibited terrain. For example, if we had, say, a level 10 hill right here, and if this Nova has less than 10 jumps, it can't take this path.